We'll hang out for a sec. Good morning. This is our monthly Home Family Director call-in. We are so stinking blessed to have a very, very special guest and her sister on the call. And so I'm going to turn it over to Beth so Beth can do a proper introduction. So Beth, take it away.
Well, first of all, I'll tell you, I'm feeling a little embarrassed that you and Shakelia are so dang cute, and clearly we have a ways to go. But I will share this, that I got, Jeannie, you can appreciate this, I got 45 unbroken double unders this morning.
Wow.
Excited. So the moral of that story is I've been working on them for like 3 years. So we keep going. And, sometimes we take a while to work on things, and sometimes somebody grabs it. And I'm so excited that y'all get to just know Shakelia a little bit better this morning. I've had the opportunity and the privilege, honestly, to get to know her better through our Pretty Place Design Studio. She is an Offspring sales director of Pam Sparks, and she's just somebody that's easy. Know what I'm saying? When you get to know her, you just love being in her space. And I'll give you some official accolades before I turn it over to her. She has 3 boys, and I love what she said. She's affectionately known as the mother of men, M-E-N. She's got Malik, who's 13, Elijah, who is 10, and Nigel, who is 6. So anybody that has 3 boys those ages, y'all know it is clearly game on time, right? She started Mary Kay in May of 2014. She became a red jacket in September of 2014. She then earned her sea cruise in May 2015 and said, all right, DIQ is on. So in June of 2015, June of last year, isn't that exciting to know that we are going into the last part of our seminar year and there are more Shakelias to be found, right? So she began DIQ in June of 2015. She was Cecilia James. She belongs to her national area, and she was their Queen of Sharing at Seminar 2015, and she was a runner-up to their Queen of Sales. So she's very balanced in sharing and in selling. And this is so exciting, you guys. She completed DIQ in 6 weeks. 6 weeks, and she debuted as a director in August of 2015. And I love the fact that Sean Key talks so much about we need to finish the goal and have strength and momentum and strength and momentum and strength and momentum. That's exactly what she did. So she finished DIQ. But then she also went on to finish her Ford Fusion in September of this past year. She completed On the Move, of course, in October. And you guys, December, she earned her first pink Cadillac. And so, less than 2 years from joining the company, she debuted her first Offspring sales director in January of this past year, 2016. And she is currently preparing for her second Offspring to debut July 1st. She has obviously been a very consistent star consultant, and her highest commission check so far, just as a brand new sales director, has been over $8,000. And I'll tell you, I love the fact that Shakelia represents, to me, she represents what Mary Kay wanted this position of sales director to look like. She wanted viable, income producing, thriving, healthy, booming directors. And she's done all of that, you guys, while having such a full-time job, while having life, with 3 boys and her husband. I know she'll tell you more about that, but I just believe that she shatters the belief barrier that we've got to eat, breathe, live, sleep, Mary Kay, and we can't have a beautiful life of harmony in order to elevate quickly. So I would love for y'all to give it up and give some ears to my friend Shakelia Thomas.
Woo! Thank you. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good, girl.
Great. So, when Beth was reading that, I had to get really used to accolades because this is different than my research world. Like, we don't really do that. I'm like, oh my goodness, when you ask for accolades, I was like, I don't even know what to do. Pam's like, just write down anything that you've made happen. And so that was what that is. And the whole time you were reading, I was thinking, I'm just impressed that she had 45 consecutive double unders. Like, double unders are really tough.
That's really cool.
When I get 45, period, I'm excited. But unbroken, I'm like, what in the world? Let's talk about that. What I wanted to do today is just to kind of talk to you guys about my unbelievable road to Cadillac. It's been a whirlwind. As I was thinking about what to talk to you guys about, I was like, okay, how can I break this down and kind of explain to them what has happened, especially with us earning the Cadillac. So I want to talk about it in 4 phases with you guys. I want to start off by talking about my first phase, which is my unaware phase. I was completely unaware about Mary Kay products, about Mary Kay as a company. I had no knowledge of anything. I had never, ever been to a Mary Kay party. My very first Mary Kay party was my personal debut party. Like, I had never been invited to one or gone to one, so I had no idea what Mary Kay was about. And so, when we talk about prejudging, I am the mom of 3 boys, and 3 boys for a reason. I'm a tomboy, and I'm pretty I like flipping tires for stress relief and stuff like that. So I just think that I was overlooked. I was not a likely person for someone to offer a facial or makeover to, or to invite to the opportunity. And so I had no knowledge. And one day I was at our child development center, and this cute little lady in her workout clothes comes up to me and says, have you ever been offered a Mary Kay facial? And I was like, no. And she's like, I know I don't like, I'm a consultant, because she didn't have on any makeup. But I saw that her skin, right. I was thinking about that it was Pam. She had on no makeup. She had just finished working out. Her skin was flawless. And because I wasn't a makeup person, I actually wasn't turned off by the fact that she didn't have on makeup. It actually made me interested because I could see the beauty of her skin. And I was in the process of training for a half marathon. And I said, do you have something for fine lines? And she was like, yeah. I said, okay, we can sit down. Like, I wasn't interested in the makeup part, but because I could see her clean face and see her skin, and I knew that, the training that I was doing in the sun and in the cold was starting to show age on my face, I just asked her if she had something that could help me with the fine lines I was seeing, then she could sit down with me. And so that was my first and only warm chatter time where anyone's invited me to anything related to Mary Kay. And so she came to my office right where I am sitting now, and a facial turned into 2 hours. We just really connected, and it was my first experience. And keep in mind, this was my baseline for Mary Kay, this woman who has come to my office, because I do work a very demanding job. She came to my office to show me what she had available to me. And she was just so personable, so nice. She wasn't pushy. And I just really enjoyed her space. And then she said, I think that you'll be able to do what I'm doing. I immediately dismissed it. Like, I was like, there's no way. Like, I can't do what you do. Like, you're super cute. First of all, you're super cute and you're super made up. Because when I saw her, she had just come from the gym. When she came to my office, she looked like $1 million. And I was like, yikes. Here's a person, no makeup at all, lip gloss when I'm like date night. And so I was like, I can't do it. I wouldn't even listen to the opportunity, completely unaware of what I was saying no to, didn't even give her the shot. And so I think about that was spring of 2012. And I was just unaware. I had learned from that facial what the products could do, still had no idea what the opportunity could do. Fast forward to May of 2014. One of my, I'm a researcher at UAB, and one of my grad student assistants who had gone on to work for NIH contacted me and said she started a Mary Kay business. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I don't even see you as being that person. And she was like, no, really, you should listen. She was like, would you do me a favor? I need to be trained. And my director wants me to talk to 5 sharp women. And I just want to know if you'll be one of my 5. Well, I love her. Not interested in Mary Kay, but love her. And I said, sure. Unaware that, what I felt like was me doing a favor for her ended up actually being so much of a blessing to me. And I'll be forever grateful that she thought enough to say, would you be one of my 5? Like, I always tell her, when I did sign on, I said, my goal is to make you really proud of the day that you had the nerve to say, will you listen? Because I am forever grateful that she offered that opportunity to me. So moving out of the unaware phase, let's go into my second phase, which was the unintentional phase. So when I started and I heard the opportunity, I thought, this sounds really great. Like at the time, we had just spent $3,000 in car repairs. And even though we were grateful to have it and not have to charge it, let's be honest, no one wants to just cough up $3,000 on cars. And so my husband had picked up a part-time job. Our 3 boys were very active in sports, and he had picked up a part-time job. We were going to use that to put towards their sports fees. And, they want to eat. Imagine that. They want to go to the game. They want to eat at the game. You got to pay to get in the game. And, he had picked up this part-time job, and he's an assistant principal. So he was going from his school to the store and closing. And we have 3 boys. And my youngest one night said, Daddy doesn't live here anymore, because Daddy was going from school to the store and closing, and my kids go to bed at 8:30. So when Daddy got home, he was asleep. He didn't know that Daddy kissed him each night, and all that. He just knew that. I was like, okay. And that is around the time when Della asked me to listen. And even though I didn't think when I said yes that it could be something to bring my husband home from that part-time job, that we could use this to put towards sports fees and use this to put back the $3,000 that we had to spend on the car repairs, I just kind of went for it. And I remember standing up at my first success night and I said, my goal is to make $200 a month. I was so proud to say, I want to bring $200 a month, for those months when the month is longer than the money. That's what I want to do. And I just decided to give it a try. The funny thing about it is my monthly goal of $200 a month was met at my first party, my debut party. And I was like, okay, so wait a minute. So this thing is real. And what I loved about it is my debut party was at my house. And it was a little bit longer because Pam, of course, was training me and showing me different things and showing me how to close. And at one point, my 6-year-old, who was 4 at the time, came and crawled in my lap. So I'm closing people out, and he crawled in my lap. I'm cradling him, and nothing stopped. I was at my house. I was still making money. The women were unfazed. And in fact, I think that they loved that, because at that debut party, there were five women, and 4 of them joined my team later. And it was just one of those things where I was like, okay, this is bigger than I realized, I'm able to do more with this than I ever thought. Somehow this Mary Kay opportunity, though I'm the most unlikely person, somehow this Mary Kay opportunity is exactly what I never knew I needed. And so I just started to go for it. Let's see. One of the things that I learned early on when I wanted to move from facials to parties is that sometimes I would run into people who felt like a party sounded like a lot of work for them and they were hesitant or whatever. So I became my own hostess, and here's how I did that. I started having Friday night parties at my house where I would invite women for a facial. And when they got here, when they got there, there were 3 other women sitting at the table as well. They didn't know them, but they became fast friends. Because here's the thing. I work a full-time job. I run a men's health center and also run a type 2 diabetes study. I have to work smart. I don't have the same amount of time as some people, but I was like, I can figure out a way to work this smart. I'm not going to push my family aside. And the facials are great, but I was like, I need to be able to do more in less time. And that's when I started hosting my own party by having women come to my home every Friday. And it was a part of the calendar. So the guys knew Friday at 6, as my 6-year-old would say, Mommy's got the Girl Scouts coming. I don't know why Mary Kay makes me think about Girl Scouts, but whenever they would come and say, are you my mommy's Girl Scout? So the Girl Scouts would come every Friday at 6. Sometimes it'd be 2 women, sometimes 3, sometimes 4. But I was like, instead of having, 3 hours for 2 faces, then I'm gonna do an hour and a half in 2 faces, just to be able to maximize my time, because every week on a chalkboard at home, what I do is I put in everyone's activities and all that, so everyone knows where everyone's going to be. And I fill in my Mary Kay time because I want them to respect my business. I want them to look at my Mary Kay business as my research career. You know, I don't want them to look at it as a hobby. And so one of the things that I learned early on is that even though guys are happy for you when you earn prizes and pots and jewelry, they're really excited when you earn cars. So I was like, okay, this will really get them to see what's possible, you know, to see what this Mary Kay opportunity could do for us. So in that unintentional phase, I was just really still just focused on trying to bring in extra money. Had no interest in team building, because to me that sounded like a lot of work, because I had the wrong mindset. Like I felt like, okay, if I'm managing 2 other things, how would I manage a team in Mary Kay? And my senior just explained to me that my position was only to get people to listen to the opportunity and to let her take care of everything else. And so that I didn't feel like, as a new person, that I needed to be the leader in the sense that I'm, you know, running the ship. No, you don't need to act like a director, but you still can pass this opportunity on by allowing her to do it. And so one day, Pam's senior came and kind of went over the marketing plan as far as just that advancement piece, the 4%, 9%, 30%, 26%. And I'm a numbers person. My world was rocked as I sat on the front row and just looked at what was possible in leadership. And I thought, maybe I'm looking at this all wrong. If I'm looking at bringing in extra money and I'm only focused on selling, perhaps I need to look at this leadership piece and trust my director that all I need to do is to find the women that are sharp, that will listen, and let her take care of everything else. So we went into DIQ. You know, we finished the car. Yeah, and that was really finishing the car, probably because finishing the car was such a challenging thing with getting the 15 personal. I felt like it really set me up for DIQ nicely, because I entered DIQ with 15. I entered with 15. And what a lot of people don't know, oftentimes they'll talk about the 6 weeks finish, but what people do not realize is that I worked to get into DIQ for 6 months before I got there. I kept missing by a person or missing by 2, so much so that at one point I was like, you know, I don't even know why I'm trying to do this. I have a job. You know, isn't that what we tell ourselves when we're frustrated about something? I have a car, I don't need a car. Or I have a job, I don't need that. When really it's just frustration talking you out of your dreams. And so I got to this point with DIQ, trying to get into DIQ, where I thought, you know, maybe I don't even need to do this. I had the DIQ pen as my screensaver on my phone, and I told Pam one night, I'm taking this off. I'm sick of looking at this. It's not happening. I'm sick of looking at it. She's like, you will not take it off. Just work harder. So we entered DIQ in June 1st. And I would say the start of DIQ is the 3rd phase in my Cadillac journey, and that would be the unstoppable phase. And what I mean by that is that during the DIQ process, it was almost like we were just unconscious. We were challenged by Cecilia, our national, to be a one and done. And my team, they were ready for it. When I tell you that, I remember I was doing a share or doing a facial or something, and we had a call with our national, and they were like, Cecilia said, get it done in 1 month, Shakelia. And I was like, you guys are lying. There's no way she said that. Like, you get 4 months. And they're like, no, she said that. And Pam goes, yeah, she said it on a national call. I'm like, with 3,000 people? Like, what's wrong with her? Like, don't do that. And they're like, what are you going to do about it? And I was like, well, if it's a challenge, I'm going to go for it. And so I went for it. And my team, when I tell you on June 30th, I remember at 11 o'clock, I got a Voxer message from Cecilia. She was like, oh my goodness, you're so close. I think I'm going to vomit. Are you okay? On June 30th, we pushed, but we ended up being one person short, $1,938 short from finishing DIQ in 1 month. And I just remember being so sick July 1st. Like, honestly, because I was like, this is an opportunity for me to go to my first seminar and debut. And I came so close, and just ran out of time and ran out of steam. And I I was just sick. But then I realized that we had stacked a DIQ team with people that were big thinkers, intelligent women who were winning in other areas of life, and that there was no reason to think that they would not do the same thing in Mary Kay. So we weren't necessarily looking at women who we felt needed Mary Kay for whatever reason, but women who we felt Mary Kay needed because of what they could bring to the table. And so we had this really strong DIQ team, and I had to quickly shift July 1st from being sick about getting so close. And what made it worse is the week of the 4th, the DIQ team called and they were like, Shakelia, we were just checking. Did you finish last month? And I'm like, no, I didn't finish. We were so close, but we didn't make it. And I just remember thinking, okay, it's time to shift the focus from being disappointed that now we have to do, if you go into another month, you have to do 4,000, even if you were only 1938 away. So we have to do 4,000. But what I said is, okay, now what we'll do is we'll go to debut with strength, debut with numbers. And we went for, I think our goal was to debut with 30. And sister, if you're on the phone, I think we debuted with 29. So we missed the goal of what we were trying to debut with, but still in shifting our goal, it gave us something else because we just were hungry to make our presence known. We were a young unit, but we wanted to go for it. And I think because we worked so together during that unstoppable phase, we went from, the earning the cruise, then earning the Fusion 4 months later, and then the Cadillac 3 months after the Fusion. And the way we were able to do it is that everyone was like, not everyone, I mean, everyone's gonna have someone asleep, but there were a lot of people who had their own goals. And so here at UAB, one of the things that we had to do as managers is to go through this strength finder scores. And my two main strengths were achiever and developer. And so my right-hand person, who's an administrator here, she said, even though you think you're an unlikely Mary Kay person, it plays into your two main strengths. Achiever, someone who sets goals, goes for them, and then celebrates for like 0.5 seconds and then goes to the next thing. And she said, like when you finished your first 5K, you're like, oh, I want to run a 10K. You finish your 10K. Okay, I'm going to do a half, just always moving the goal to something else. She's like, Mary Kay totally fits with that. And then the developer piece. The developer piece is that it is my passion to find out what someone else wants for themselves, for their family, and help them go to work to make that happen. And so even though the cosmetics piece probably seems odd to like my college friends who even now they're like, Shaq, really, you're doing Mary Kay like you never wore makeup. Well, I wear it now. And the developer in me loves the fact that there are these women who have all these different whys, but that I can work with them. I can work with them to get them done. And in the process of doing that, we were able to earn 3 cars in 7 months. So we went from paying $3,000 in car repairs to earning 3 cars in 7 months. Like the opportunities in this company are endless. I feel so strongly about it. And I often tell people, like, you never know until you listen. You never know. And so what we're in now is we're in this 4th phase, what I call the unwavering phase. So this is where, that goal that you've set for yourself, maybe that ultimate goal, that pink Cadillac goal, you've made it. But now what are you going to do about it to keep yourself going? We debuted 1 unit, about to debut another unit. And so we have to keep setting goals. We have to be steady. We have to understand that the other thing is what a lot of people don't know outside of our units is that the road to Cadillac was phenomenal in the accomplishments. But guys, when I tell you that I met some serious challenges from June to December, when I say that, so my family is my why. And in June, I think it was the week after we earned the cruise, there were serious health diagnoses in my family. Colon cancer for someone in their early 40s, epileptic seizures out of nowhere for one of my sons. A lot happened in June. but I didn't stop. I was like, well, I have to be unwavering, because just like life is happening to me, I know life happens to other people. Like, I even remember from reading Miracles Happen, the different things that even our founder went through in starting the company. And so though there were a lot of tears for things that were going on personally, I just remembered that I had to be unwavering, because my why was my family. So even in the midst of all of the things that were going on with the family, that we really had to push. And I think our best month ever was a month that I unexpectedly lost one of my uncles. And I just remember it was October. It was the month that the company was doing the double promotion. Yeah, I think it was October, and they did like the double credit, the double promotion if you hit all of that. And so we had these really big goals, and out of nowhere, I got a call at one of my son's football games that my uncle was unresponsive, and then a few minutes later that he didn't make it. And guys, I've never been so much of a mess. To hear my mother audibly sobbing on the phone, and she's in Dallas, and I can't get to her, and I'm trying to talk to her, and then to have to figure out how I'm going to tell my sons. And the worst day ever was to tell them that their uncle, who throws football with them and all of that, he was gone, and they never got to say goodbye. It was just horrible. And there were a lot of tears, but I just had to figure out a way to be unwavering, because I do know that there's always going to be something that's going to happen. And what I often tell people is that, you never know what someone is going through when what you see is their win. You don't know what they're dealing with. So when you're dealing with your own, you don't want to feel like, okay, this is going on, so I'm going to put my dreams on hold. I still was there for my family. I still went in early to help with the obituary, because my mother and my aunt were in pieces. I went to go support my youngest uncle and to support my grandparents, but I still worked my business. And we finished that month, breaking records. We were just unwavering. And so if I had to wrap up and say anything about the road to Cadillac, I would say that my faith grew exponentially with that Cadillac journey. There is so much more in that pearlized pink vehicle than just the accomplishment of hitting 102K. It's more than that. It's looking back to when I was completely unaware of what this gem was that was Mary Kay. Looking back to when, I was unintentionally moving towards a goal that I hadn't even set for myself, just, working my business, doing what my director said, and the cars started coming. Then that unstoppable phase where momentum was just taking us. But also the unwavering phase where you have to realize maybe the momentum isn't the same, especially as you debut. You think about offspringing. It's kind of like, you go through that postpartum, you get your unit adjusted to, okay, now it's this group and all of that, but just being steady, just having this resolve that, we are doing this opportunity is incredible. And it doesn't change with family emergencies. It doesn't change with all of the things that come our way. And so what I want to say to you, whatever your goals are, whatever your aspirations are, push for them, and realize this: you don't have to forsake everything else in your life to get to these goals. Our priorities are not lip service. God first, family second, career third. It's not just a cliche. Like, following that will actually help you get to your goals. It really will. It will help you. I don't feel like I've forsaken my kids in my quest to get into this position with Mary Kay. And I'm not done. There are still things that I want to do. My boys actually have had an opportunity to see their mom win. And that means everything to me, because I'm always on the sidelines, in the stands, cheering them on. These wins for the car, like I said, not so much for jewelry, pots, and handbags. They don't too much get excited about that. But car parties, to see their excitement and to see their pride and to hear them tell their friends about what my unit and I have accomplished means everything. So just know that, our dreams and our goals and our resolve, it impresses upon people who are watching us. Like, I want my boys to know that they can, because they watch me. They watch me do it. That's all that I have for you guys. I hope that that's helped someone. And I guess I'll take any questions. I'm going to have to hop off really quickly because I'm headed to another meeting, but I can take any questions that anyone has for a couple of minutes.
Well, Shakila, I just want to first of all say that I know you've got a jet, but just thank you from the bottom of a super grateful heart. I found myself thinking, these are the women that Mary Kay wanted to rise up and be the voice of our company, because you are living what she asked of us. You're living excellence. You are living a beautiful, harmonious life that just is playing full out. And I know that does not come with a lot of outtakes. Like you said, a lot of times we see those highlight reels, but I just want to thank you for giving of your time that is so incredibly valuable to us this morning. You've blessed us beyond belief. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Shaq, what would you, excuse me, what would you say, what's that? Oh, there you are. Okay.
I'm trying to hear. You sounded far away.
You, having a full-time job, having children, all of that, if you had to just give like one piece of advice, because I can see us sharing your video with our emerging leaders, what would you say to them that you did when it felt like there were not enough hours in the day?
I had to also get my family in on the goals, because I think what ends up happening is that we have this sense of guilt where not only do we feel like there are not enough hours, but we feel like we're forsaking something else for something else. So getting them on board with it, like for my boys, I could say, okay, when these women leave, whatever snacks are left over are yours. And it's really simple, but it gets them excited about appointments because they're like, oh, she's got a party tonight, snacks, things like that. And just also realizing that I had to figure out a way to work smarter. Like when I was doing those individual facials, it was a great time to bond and kind of share and really get to know someone. But I had to shift. To do more faces at a time just because my time is limited. And I pretty much focused on the Friday parties at my house. Saturday, I would go to people. And on Sundays, I would do one appointment on Sunday, like when they would be maybe napping after church and lunch and brunch or something like that. And then Monday, working on, I really need to get back to Monday, having guests come to Success Night because I'm going to be there anyway. And just figuring out how to maximize that time so that I'm not duplicating, my efforts. If I already have something on the schedule, to go ahead and plug it in, and I always tell my people, just plug it in. Just plug in, find out the times that are going to work for your family and just stick to it. I don't schedule here and there and all of that. My schedule doesn't allow it. I said, these are my available times, and I put people in it. And I talk to my unit about that. A lot of times they're at the mercy of the person. It's like, well, whenever you can do it. No, this is your schedule. Look at your family schedule. Set your appointment times. People don't go to the doctor's office and the dentist's office and say, hey, I think I want to come Saturday at 2. No. You're running a business. Set your schedule. You know what your responsibilities are. Set your schedule and plug the people in. Plug the people in. And so that's what I would say. Just have a set schedule that's not going to be manic for you. A set schedule that'll work, and go to work to plug the people in. But don't go here and there and all. I had a consultant who was like, you should start scheduling facials during her Bible study. And so I'm like, no. She's like, well, they asked. Well, it's not available. It's not available. Give people the times that are available. I don't schedule during church service and Sunday school because I'm not available. And so just with that, I would say, figure out a time, and maybe there may be a certain time every week. And then there may be some weeks where for me on Saturdays, all 3 boys play basketball and my husband coached all 3. So every Saturday I had to look at the schedule. So on Sunday, when I laid out the family schedule, I'd look to see what the basketball games were. And I'd go to work to plug someone in at a time that was after all of the games. Because there were times where I'd have to rush one kid over to the game where his assistant coach would have to start. And I still can't believe he coached all 3. I was like, are you kidding me? I'm running a business here. But we made it work.
Jack, well, we know you have another meeting. Beth, would you just close this segment with Shaq with a prayer over her, please?
I would love to. God, I just thank you so much for this woman who she might have been unaware, but you were fully aware that you had your hand of sovereignty on her, and that you were very intentional in picking her out and selecting her, first of all, to be yours and to be your child, and also to be a part of our business. God, I thank you that you put her together as an unstoppable force, and God, I thank you, and I know that she is unwavering in sharing what this company, what this business, ultimately what you could do that will change and transform lives. God, I just pray for just abundant blessing over her, for a guardedness of her heart and mind, for a steady focus in these last 60 days, Lord, that just she and her unit would have just unexplainable, miraculous growth as they have continued to do, because God, she gives you great glory. And that is why we know that you have just given us the opportunity to have a voice. And so I pray, bless the rest of her day. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you.
All right, guys. I know that's them calling me. I'm going to run.
All right, girl.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so let me take us back to gallery view. There we go. Okay, so I know Beth has the opportunity to work with Shaq from time to time when they're doing events there at the Pretty Place. And so how can we use this besides sharing the video with our people? What was a good takeaway that will help you empower your people based on what Shaq said? So anybody, I'd love to hear your feedback. What was your best takeaway?
The whole thing.
Like, did one thing jump out at you for one particular person, Michelle?
Well, you know that she's got a very, very full life, but she made it work. She had her family on board, but I like how, too, at the very end, she said she really stuck to her schedule, and I'm not the best at doing that. Sometimes I will jump to hold an appointment because I really want that person, but how she said that you really have to keep it in balance, and she really stuck to her schedule. So I think that'll be good, especially for the ladies in our units who have children and who have other jobs and who have this and who have that. And speaking to me too, that I really need to just set it and not be, here, there, everywhere.
Awesome. Thank you. Who else?
One of the other things that she said that kind of was like a little switch flip for her when she was talking about, she knew she was looking at this as extra income, but was the clear explanation of the career path and the commission schedule. And, she is when she was talking about her taking the strengths finder, I mean, she's an achiever. And so I think in looking at those people that you do have in your unit who are achievers, they're already winning in a lot of other places in their lives. And maybe it's just totally for their information, but making sure that they're aware of that commission and painting that picture and throwing out the career path often at events so that it stays kind of right here. That was good.
Well, and I thought that was awesome. And one of the things that jumped out at me is what she chose to do to maximize the faces she could be in front of by holding Friday nights. And Rena used to call that booking a party for all those selfish people who wouldn't book a party to share with others. And, of course, you can't say that to them. But I thought that was so interesting for so many levels because she already worked a full-time job. It would be very easy for her to think that Friday night was her chance to, because she knew she was going to be at either basketball games or appointments on Saturday. She held an appointment Sunday afternoons when, you know, that meant there was not a single day in the week that she was completely off for anything. And what a shining example of short-term sacrifice. And I know that not everybody can do a Friday night party, but I was thinking to myself, you know, I don't have kids' games on Friday nights. Dick and I don't do date night on Friday. We do it during the week when things aren't crowded. Why wouldn't I do a Friday night? And what could be a really cute title that I could entice people to come on Friday night? That would actually be a great, absolutely great time for me to work. And I know it's different for everyone, but that just was kind of a paradigm shift for me around Friday nights, not just for me, but for everyone that I'll encounter going forward. So that was a really big one for me. Who else?
Hey, y'all, this is Amy. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
This is so simple too and way less significant than what y'all have shared because I loved her whole story, but every now and then I like to make a quick note and jot down just a phrase that someone says that could be repeated and reused. Universally by me or my consultants or whatever when talking to someone. So I just loved it when she said what could be a favor to her or me, and that just whoever the consultant is today could be a huge blessing to you. And so I just, that was, I don't know, those the way those words were assembled, I thought was great. And then I loved it when she said, don't let your frustration talk you out of your dream.
That was
and
good.
Boy, is that true? I mean, can we all not say amen to that? So she had a good couple power quotes I thought in there too that, we can give to our consultants and share with them and blah, blah, blah.
Amy, will you say the last one again? Because I didn't write it down and I couldn't type quickly enough. So would you say the last one again, please?
Yeah, it's real simple. It's don't let your frustration talk you out of your dream.
Thank you, girls, so much. I appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, who else?
One thing she talked about too, and I think this was so key for their growth so quickly, is she absolutely looked for women that were winning in other areas of their life. I mean, she's Dr. Shaquille Thomas, and so when somebody achieves that level of accomplishment in their life, they have some grit and some fortitude, and just it may be in a totally different arena, like I said, but just I think that definition of what is target market is, are they winning in other places of their life? And that may not, they may have a GED. I don't mean that in relation to education, but just looking at that, and that was a composition of who she had in her unit and who they were going after. And like attracts like, all day long.
Awesome. Thank you. Anybody else?
Well, I agree with all of y'all. I mean, Michelle, you hit it. I do a flexible schedule too, and it really woke me up to, okay, quit being so flexible with everybody else and set your own pace. Which I have started doing a little bit, and that book has helped me that I created. The big manual, mine's about that thick, but I've got to decrease it. So if y'all have done that director manual, do it front and back. Don't do it like just one page because it's crazy. But that's helped me get organized, and I think hearing her and echoing what all of y'all have said, but hearing it from a different person, just like when we share it with our consultants, they're going to hear it a different way from a different person. And both of y'all have always said that, Beth and Jeannie, exactly what she's been saying. We just heard it differently from a different person. So I think all of us have said that to our consultants one way or the other, some of those points y'all made, but whether they follow it or not, is up to them. So yeah, I was amazed and had a lot of, mm-hmm. And y'all saw me writing down. I was like, oh my gosh, get it together. So yeah, totally agree.
Well, and Lou, you made me laugh because there's something about printing something. I just can study it better than if I'm looking at it on a screen. And I don't know if that's a 59-year-old brain or what. I forgot that you said to print it front and back. And I kept hearing the printer going and I was like, oh, crud. Well, that's not exactly what I said, but
500 pages later.
but you know what you said about that you've heard Beth and I say it, but you know what? I heard the things that I have said differently because it was in a slightly different context. And so what a great example of being willing to invest in yourself and plug in to situations like this call or career conference. And I'm preaching to the choir. I'm not saying that because you guys need to do anything better on that. Y'all are great about that. You just never know when you're going to hear it in a way that creates a shift. And so thank you for sharing that. Anybody else want to share something?
This was like really simple, but going back to, you know, she might not still be here today had somebody not asked her to do that part of their education and those practice interviews. And so I know I've been on this, you know, on this track, but I will continue to be that, though, whatever you're doing, Pearl's sharing, however you're backing them up, but getting in there in the space of those new people and letting them hear you share, that's what captivated her as the new consultant. So it's important.
Love that. Love that. Anybody else? Okay. Well, guys, what I want to do is I want you to write this day on the wall. We are going to finish early. And I want to put all of those minutes into a deposit that I can draw on in the future. But just as a quick reminder, we have secured the Victory Grill for our awards event last year. We got so much positive feedback on that. In about probably the next month, there will be a link for people to be able to register. Most of us are at the Hilton Garden Inn Market Center. Oh, Sarah Beth, hey! And
This is what
and so, you know, if that works, that you can be in that hotel with us, that's where we're going to be. And backed by hugely popular demand and actually a couple of threats that if we didn't do it, I was going to suffer bodily harm. We are going to be doing the lip sync again, and you can do it as a unit, or if somebody wants to do it individually, we just will have a limited amount of time. And so as we get closer and we see what kind of response, and so of course I want to give first priority to the units that would like to do it together. And so if you will let me know if that is your plan, because I want to protect that time for the units first before I open it up to individuals. And one of the sources of a threat of bodily injury was from my unit, because I was so great about telling all y'all and I didn't tell my own unit. And so they were highly unhappy with me. And so they're very excited about that. So just a few seminar details coming up. The end of the month, we're still finishing out our monthly home family recap, waiting for some final numbers because there were some orders that had to be resolved, and in a couple situations it might make the difference in placement. So we're just waiting on that, and then I'll forward that to you. Remember also that today is the day that all of your career path promotions need to be in to myself or Tracy, either one, so that we can include that on the recap. So any questions about any of that?
Yes. Jeannie, tell me the date of the directors or the future home area banquet dinner thing.
I don't have my calendar in front of me, Amy. If somebody else does, that would be helpful. It will be on, let me think. Go Give is blah, blah, blah. It is on the national night, so it will be day one night. Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, and that's the one you said that the Victory Grill?
Yes, same place as last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I understood. And then do you have the directors? Is it still going to be like the day before?
The day before day zero. Yes, the day before day 0. And thank you for asking that question. And so we will start at either 2 or 3. I'm still working on the surprise around that. And so if everybody can just be in by, and ready to rock by 2 or 3, that way you won't miss anything. And
2 p.m. day before day 0.
Correct.
So that would be on Tuesday, August the 2nd. That would be 2 p.m. August the 2nd, which is Tuesday. And then our home night would be that Thursday, the 4th. That would be day 1 night.
Thank you, Beth. And Michelle.
Girl, you're the bomb. Thank you.
And Michelle and Lou, I got to tell you guys, when I saw that seminar was in August, you guys were the first ones that I thought about, that you didn't have to jack with getting time off, because I know that would have been a critical time. And so if your ears were burning, it was just because I was saying prayers of thanksgiving that neither of you are in that circumstance anymore.
I know. I was thinking we could take pictures of Michelle and not have to be
That's right, and not post them on Facebook. And
I know.
And Susan the same way. So, and I think Julie is here via phone. So yay! We don't get to see your cuteness, but we're glad you're here, girl.
Well, and so guys, I will send you out this recording, because I really do believe that there's nothing on here that would ruin a surprise for our consultants. And I really think they'd be so blessed by hearing our speaker today. So Beth, thank you so very much for asking her and making sure that everything worked together. And guys, if I just would really like this, because she was doing that from her office at her job. If you guys wouldn't mind, either Beth, you could get us her address and put it on our group. Okay, I'd love for us to send her notes. Because she did not have to do that, and I'm very grateful she did. So Beth, thank you for your part in that, and if you'll put her address on there, that would be great. All right, well, you guys, thank you for making this a priority and for being here with us, and we really are better together. I love you guys to the moon and back, and I cannot imagine a group of women I would rather do life with. So have a blessed day, and watch for the link from our call. Bye, you guys.
Yeah.